science and technology and humanitarian acts,
Healthcare
all of these
breakthroughs.
things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one phase is AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Before you move off that though, so what you're describing is human intelligence. And so this is...
And societal intelligence.
I don't quite know what you mean by that.
And what I mean is that societal norms organizing around the United Nations.
Yes, but all born of this meat suit. The brain works in a certain way, and AI will not work in that same way. I have no reason to believe that AI will work in that same way.
Very likely won't.
It works differently.
Very good point.
You can reboot your life, your health, even your career, anything you want. All you need is discipline. I can teach you the tactics that I learned while growing a billion-dollar business that will allow you to see your goals through. Whether you want better health, stronger relationships, a more successful career, any of that is possible with the mindset and business programs in Impact Theory University. Join the thousands of students who have already accomplished amazing things. Tap now for a free trial and get started today.
At the end of the day, when we have these crazy Hollywood scripts that AI is going to usurp us for our heat from the Matrix. I love the Matrix. They failed on that use of human bodies. I'm sorry. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
I do agree with you, and I don't know well enough what their original intention was, but according to them,
yes,
they were forced by the studio to give a more simplistic answer. So I let them off the hook for...
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
But, we're coming to get your water on this planet. Listen, whatever we have on this planet is infinite in the universe. We are a speck, a crumb in a universe filled with resources. And so AI doesn't need to, squash humanity to get these resources. So AGI at its extreme, artificial general intelligence at its extreme, I don't believe is going to be dystopian in itself. In the middle term, what I would call the terrible twos or the teenage years, maybe there is a case to be made that in the beginning AI hasn't reached full sentience, doesn't understand the power of its tools. Maybe there's a case that, it's the baby picking up a rock and throwing it at the window, not understanding what it's,
a teenager with a BB gun and a squirrel.
Yes.
That's the best.
But the third element, which is the most likely, is the malevolent individual. It's the bad actors using technology. And so sometime in the next 18 months, 2 years, there may well be not a retrovirus released, but an AI virus that goes out and shuts down power plants or shuts down Wall Street and something and causes a economic hurdle. That's not the AI. Those are the humans using that tool, just to be very clear. There's a great book by Mo Gadot called Scary Smart. Came out about a year ago. Do you know the book?
I haven't read the book, but I had Mo on the show recently.
Yeah, Mo is fantastic. And he basically says, listen, I want you to think about AI as a child we're giving birth to as humanity. And that child is being taught by its parents. Now, if you think about Superman, who lands in Kansas, wherever he landed, and he's picked up by the Kents, and it's a loving family, he learns good ethics and morals, and he becomes a superhero for good. What if Superman had landed in the Bronx and part of a drug lord ring, and had become the supervillain?
You make me want to write that story. As soon as you started, I was like, wait a second.
There's a great plot there.
So the question is, we humans, how are we teaching this new life form coming into existence?
I like Neil Jacobs' framing, which is he goes, okay, you're worried about an AI getting more and more access to information, becoming autonomous, making its own decisions, and starting to run amok out in the world. We go, yeah. He goes, we have a precedent for that. We call them children. And we raise kids, and we figured out ways of giving them timeouts or jail or whatever. And he thinks constructively that we think we'll find ways of bounding what AIs can do. Now,
so
he
I'm
may be
push
wrong.
On that. How,
he may be wrong. I'm not sure I agree with him.
Yeah, that seems super naive to me. So when I am optimistic by nature, and my default setting is just, hey, this is all going to work out somehow. And as soon as we wrap this episode, I'm going to be pushing my team to integrate AI more. I'm going to be paying more money for AI and just feeding that beast. But at the same time, it does give me pause as I try to think through like how you really deal with the alignment problem. So to me, there's two really big dangers for AI. Danger number one, and this is the one that scares me the most, but I'm going to set it aside for a minute. And that's just humans lose meaning and purpose. Just AI can do everything better than they can. It just becomes so defeating that you're just like, oh God, like I've worked really hard to get good at this thing. Like this, I tell this story all the time. I can't remember if I've told it in an episode, but I employ a bunch of artists. And I once sat with one of them, and for like an hour, he was just trying to get the perfect like semicircle. And he was just doing it over and over and over and over. And at the time I thought, oh man, yeah, like you've got to do that. Like to be able to articulate what's in his mind, he has to be able to control his hand. And I was like, wow, I really get that. Now I'm like, you wasted your time. Like AI can do that, like does not even have to think about it. And he is an anomaly. So he runs out and he's now learning how to use AI to do some of the tasks that we want to do artistically. Okay, amazing. We'll set that aside for now, meaning and purpose. The other one is the paperclip problem. So now you just have, like when I think about what will a machine end up optimizing for, my gut instinct is unless you go way out of your way to get really clever, they will optimize for efficiency of reward. So whatever you tell it is the thing to go for, we'll call that the reward. And then it's just going to find the most efficient way to get to that. And so we have to be so careful about how we define, but don't X, Y, Z. And then to the idea of it being like a child, yes, but it's like a child that has access to nuclear capability.